filter in here.
Okay.
Okay, so folks, this is Frederick Jones, founder and publisher of Saturday AM. I'm joined by our very special guest, Andrea Voros, one of the co-founders of Saturday AM and the creator of Saigami. We're going to be getting started here with a live chat about our brand new internship program. And so it's going to be, basically just kind of a question and answer session. We're going to run through a couple of facts about it. And then from there, we will then have kind of an official video. So this won't be the actual video that we will advertise with for a couple of reasons. One, because these videos are always kind of ghetto. You can see here the amazing special effects we have here is a little image of me and a little image of Andrea. And so it's probably not the best looking thing to try to hype for people to want to be interns, but we're really excited about this program. We want to put together a really nice video for it. We also want to be able to answer questions. So that's what this is all about, is answering questions and helping people understand what we're looking to do and why we're doing it. And then from there, we'll put together a bit more professional video, have that available for people as we advertise this. And then we'll get things up and running with a RSVP form for people to then begin submitting their registrations for these internship positions. So give us a few minutes. We're letting more people kind of come through the chat, and then we will get started. And again, this is a live chat, so all we ask is that you be respectful to people who are in here to get the information that they want, and just try to respect people's desire to do so. And if you have any questions yourself, we would be more than happy to answer them shortly. So again, give me just a few moments. We're just going to let a few more people come through. I'm just getting a few things set up, and then we will begin the process. You can see Andrea is typing folks into the chat thing, so please feel free to do that. That's great. Feel free to chat with Andrea. Okay, all right, folks, we're going to go ahead and get started. Again, my name is Frederick Jones. I am the founder and publisher of Saturday AM. And I want to give you guys we really appreciate you guys coming out for this. If you guys don't know, of course, Saturday AM is the world's global manga anthology. We used to call ourselves the world's most diverse shonen manga anthology because we were. But now, considering that we're the only contiguous manga anthology that is in English and features creators from all around the world, we're just the world's global manga anthology, which is pretty cool. We are really excited to be in a position to have a chance to share with you guys something that people have been asking for some time. And to do so, we've got Andrea Voros with us. She is one of my colleagues here at Saturday AM. When we founded the company, Andrea was one of the people that we founded the company with. She was the first female creator of a Saturday AM series that we had. And she's incredibly popular. And of course, she's incredibly cool as a person. We consider her family, of course. And she's the creator, as you all know, of Saigami. So we're really excited and just really excited to be able to doing this and be able excited to have her as part of this conversation. Andrea, you want to say hi to everybody?
Hey, everyone.
So if you guys are watching our YouTube videos, you know that is the extent of Andrea's vocal range. Andrea, she keeps it real. She doesn't give a lot of sugar. She doesn't sugarcoat things. She just keeps it very real. So yeah. So thank you, Andrea, for that. Thank you very much. Okay. Well, so then we're going to go ahead and get started. Let me just again kind of explain a little bit about what we're going to be doing. So first and foremost, we are discussing the internship program that many people have been asking us to do for a very long time. We started Saturday AM, that was in 2013. And as I said a few minutes ago, there was no one else doing the sort of stuff that we're doing now. So really quite extraordinary that we're even here today, that we've grown that much. But people have been asking to try to join Saturday AM in some capacity to help us. And I mean, we've gotten everything, by the way. I mean, we've gotten people who've asked, like, could they actually, invest in us? We've had people offering to send us money to invest. I never know how much money they're talking about because I don't know about Andrea, but like we need real money. Like I'd like real money, but a couple of pennies ain't gonna cut it. But regardless, we've had people ask all the time about internships, and I myself, went to a big school here in America called University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, or UNC. And internships are really important to me. My nephew actually right now is in school at NC State University. He and I were just talking over the holiday break about intern programs that he's looking to do. He's in school for design. So I think that internships are great, and I'm a big believer in them, a big believer in education. And so we've been wanting to do this for some time, but doing it in a capacity that actually made sense and had real legitimate things that we could get out of it and that the person doing it could get out of it is really important. So as we start this, I want to just say a couple of things. Number one, this is not a job. So that's the first thing. This is not a job. So if you're doing this and wanting to, you got to pay your bills, then you need to get a real job, either at your local, post office, Pizza Hut. It's not an endorsement of Pizza Hut, by the way, but just I get too much pizza from there. But really, any place, you just need to get a job. This, unfortunately, is not that. I would love for it to be at some point, but it's not. Likewise, this is not per se an entry point into Saturday AM. Like, we're not getting people into these internship positions with the goal of them becoming permanent members of Saturday AM. What we would love is to get people in, have them, become an indelible part of what we do, such that we could make them a permanent part of Saturday AM. But for us to make that assumption going into it would be crazy. We have creators who come through all the time who, we look at and think, man, this person's an amazing creator, but they'll never last more than an issue or a chapter because they just don't, Saturday AM is a really tough thing. And so when we can see that with creators, then trust me, it's the same here with this type of stuff. Beyond that, I think when you get past that, the only other thing I want to get out the way is that this is an internship. This is not a scenario where you don't know how to do any of these things, and we're supposed to therefore train you. That's not what an internship is. An internship is something that you are actually currently receiving and or have some experience in, and now you're getting a chance to test that experience in a more real world setting. So you don't get to intern, for example, to be a doctor and you've never done anything in the medical profession. Like, that's not how that works. You have to actually have some experience in this. So again, I'm confident that there will be a number of folks who will say, oh, okay, well, this isn't for me. And we certainly appreciate that. We understand that. But for the people who are really excited about this, again, do understand excitement is not enough. We're going to be looking for people who actually have experience in these sectors to have a chance to go forward. So with that being said, I'm going to talk about the specific internship roles that we're looking to fill, what those pertain. Then I'm going to let Andrea speak specifically about the comics part. And then after that, we will open it up to questions. Okay. So if you guys have questions, if you can just hold them a little bit, we will get to them. I promise you, in the next 10 or 15 minutes. Or probably 10 minutes. I don't think it should take longer than that. So with that being said, again, thank you guys so much for tuning into this. And again, we really appreciate the support you guys give us. So for our internship program, it will begin later this month. It will kick off fully. We hope to have all the individuals that we need by the beginning of February. And it will run through the next several months until about the summertime of 2019. There's a possibility of it extending, and there's a possibility of us rekindling it and doing another internship sector sometime at the beginning of the fall for 2019. So basically around college-oriented arrangements. So as far as the actual internship position we're looking for right now, they can encompass 7 arenas. The first is design. On the design side, we're looking for designers who can help us with our print magazines, or not our print magazines, sorry, but with our magazines, with our website, and with UI, which is user interface. These are things that would be applications and apps and things of that nature. So if you have a design skill set in those arenas, we would very much be interested in talking with you. These consist of things like Adobe Photoshop, Adobe Illustrator, InDesign. You would need to have a fairly good arrangement with those types of design software or experience with those design software, to be in a position for this to be something that would work for you and for us. But design is something that we're looking to fill a couple of roles in. So right now, we're ideally looking to place 3 design interns with Saturday AM for this upcoming internship calendar. So again, if this is something that you have desired to do, if you've got some proven track record in this arena, then we most certainly would be interested in speaking with you. The next position that we have is for marketing. Marketing in this context is very specific, so I want to talk about this. You'll see why in a minute. So with this, for marketing, we're looking for people who are good at or can assist in things like public relations, program management, meaning that we put together like a advertisement project around, we're going to promote the debut of the new Paradise Down graphic novel. And this is someone who would be then in charge of managing that process. And then last but not least, media buys and sponsorships. So what media buys and sponsorships are literally dealing with advertisers, either advertisers that we're going to be buying ads from, or advertisers that we would be looking to allow them to buy ads from us. So this is a fairly big position for us. We're looking to nab, again, about 3 people in this arena. This is something that, of course, has long-term potential with it. So we're very eager to try to get folks into this particular arena. Next up is editorial. Editorial is pretty straightforward. What we're looking for here are individuals who would be in a position to help us you know, create better stories and make sure our comics are coming in on time for the magazine and for the graphic novels. One of the key things here that I think is missed a lot when people approach us is that for someone to have a role in editorial, one of the biggest things that you would have to have is spelling and grammar expertise. So if you are someone who can't spell basic words, if you send us, and this has happened, where we've gotten emails from people asking could they help us in any capacity, they'll throw out editorial, and they literally will misspell the word editorial. They'll misspell the word help or internship. They will have run-on sentences. They will have commas instead of periods, or periods were not supposed to be. They won't capitalize letters. Like that's not editorial. Like if you can't do that basic thing, then editorial is not something that you should be looking at. It goes without reason that this is one of the areas as well, kind of like design, that you have to actually be extremely proficient in this arena for us to even consider you in a position for this. So this is not something where you can come in and have a little bit of experience. You have to be extremely proficient at it. You can't come into design and have the software on your computer, but you've never actually designed anything. You have to actually have designed lots of stuff. You have to actually know about transparencies and layers and all those various things. Same with editorial. You absolutely have to be in a position to deal with spelling and grammar at the highest levels possible, meaning that you're catching us making mistakes. If that's not something that you can do, then that's a significant problem. And by the way, let me say this real quickly. Just as an aside, we were in Chicago recently for a Wizard World show. We attended conventions last year with our team, and we had a gentleman come up to us, and they were really excited about Saturday. And I think they saw me speak, because typically when we go to these conventions, I do like panels and I'll speak on behalf of diversity and Saturday AM and things like that. And so this was a gentleman. He was really passionate about me and what I stood for. He really liked what Saturday AM was all about. He met the creators. He bought books from us and everything. Really, really cool. He was going to try to get us into Chicago library. I think he's still trying. Again, it's not easy. But one of the things he said really hurt us was that some of our earlier books, and I can't remember which one it was, had some really bad spelling errors in it. And this is a guy who's buying books for a library, meaning that their primary customer are students, young people. And he really felt strongly about, young people, as we know, gravitating towards Saturday AM. So this is just how important good grammar is. This is how important editorial is. If you are watching this and you have no intention of actually being a part of Saturday AM, which is fine, and you have no intention of, you want to make your own Saturday AM type of brand, which happens a lot with us, that's perfectly fine. Then please understand that this is a really crucial element, that editorial is a must, because if you can't nab really good editorial and spelling mistakes, things like that, it's going to hurt you in bigger scenarios. So really important, and we want to make sure that everyone knows that. So that is, of course, editorial. The next one is tied to marketing. That's why I said you'll see why I separated marketing from this one. And this is social media. Now, social media, as we all know, has become really big for promotion of content, promotion of brands. We do a pretty good job with social media, I have to say. Like, we have some competitors out there, they've bought their way to a lot of public relations and media attention and lots of quote unquote subscribers to their Facebook accounts, things like that. They're buying those. And the way you always know that is because when you look at how many people actually like a post, it's commensurate with how many people you actually have following you. Like if you have 50,000 people following you and only 20 people like a post, chances are you don't have 50,000 people following you. You pay for a lot of people to follow you. They don't actually follow you. And there's some other stuff that goes on with that as well. Some of the stuff has to do with some of these companies like Facebook and how they kind of tweak some of the things that they do. But the most part, at the end of the day, social media is really important. It's tricky, but it's really important. So with that being said, we are really ambitious about having good social media. We want to have things done on our social media accounts that are unique. So we have a plan for it when it comes down to where people can help us execute it. And again, this is someone who has to know the platforms. If you're somebody, again, that never posts for yourself, then this is not something for you to look at and go, oh, okay, yeah, I know social media. I've heard of Twitter. Great, I can do it. Like if you have no followers, if you've never posted, if your username is, at, Bobby, 9,698, chances are this is not your wheelhouse. This is not something you're good at. So again, we're looking for people who are competent in these arenas. And as a result of that, we really need to find people who can articulate good social media strategy, who have a good social media presence, who understand how to grow followers, who understand how to communicate to followers, who understand how to follow trends. So we're looking for social media positions as well. So I forgot to add on editorial, by the way, that we're looking for about 3 editors. And in fact, we're looking for 1 major position in editorial. So again, if you're someone who wants to have a role, that's a really big role that could be permanent. Social media, we're looking for 4 people. And the reason is that, we'd like to find, because we think it's going to be difficult to find people who really have actual skills in this arena. So we ideally would like to find someone for each of the major platforms. Those would be, of course, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and then Discord. So next up is writing. Writing is like editorial. This is something that we are not looking for. So again, this is not something that's going to help you get a comic with us. That's not the point of doing this. We're looking for writers who literally like to write. And not just like to write, but go a step further than that. They actually take it very seriously, writing things that can excite people. So again, I know we have a lot of young fans. That's why we're going to be advertising this internship capability, because again, I think this is an arena where getting a lot of young people is not great. The fact of the matter is that when you look at writers of blogs and things of that nature, they tend to be people who understand the power of writing. When when we get people who approach us to write and they want to make their own comics, they don't seem to really appreciate writing. So, and so I guess to put it in the best position is that if you're constantly in need of an artist, then it just, again, your writing bona fides, so to speak, are really low, right? Like it's not high enough if you're needing an artist to tell your story. It means you don't appreciate writing for what it is. So we're not looking for people who can write, for example, who can say, hey, Aquaman, I just saw it. It was great. We're looking for people who can actually give us like a story about watching the Aquaman movie, who can tell, who can have a theme, who can have a point of view, who can have a really funny bit of prose about watching Aquaman. Like, did it touch them? Did it piss them off? Did they feel that it spoke badly about, DC superhero movies? Can they see the future from that movie? Does it make them wonder about different things? Like, we want people who can really delve into ideas and concepts. Right now, we do interviews. If you guys have seen some of the interviews we do, we had a couple of interviews in issue 100. We're looking for people who can do that. But again, one of the things we've always run into with people who want to do interviews is that the interviews are just kind of remote interviews. Like there's no real heart to it. Like they don't come in with the point of view. They don't come in with the theme. They just literally put together a basic idea. A basic question, and then the person answers it, and that's it. They never follow up. Some of the people that we've interviewed in the past, we've interviewed some heavy hitters, and some of the writers, they don't even follow up with those people. So we're looking for people, again, who take writing seriously. If you think this is a writing gig to write comics, then it's not. I can just tell you it's not. So we're looking for people who take writing seriously. We're looking for people who are looking for that high profile opportunity to showcase their writing ability with just writing. And then hopefully with that, we can help them, because of the increased visibility that we have, we can help them discover, bigger gigs with IGN or with, major websites, with major magazines like The Atlantic or New York Times, and so on and so forth. Again, that's pie in the sky stuff. Don't get me wrong. But the point of the matter is that if you're a writer, you have to start somewhere. And we think we have a great platform for writing really interesting content about, geek culture, about people who are involved in digital content, whether it's short form movie creators or people who are making content for Netflix and so forth. Like, you can have this opportunity. It's really big, but it requires people to be serious about writing. So again, that's what we say on that. We're looking for writers, people who can do interviews, reviews, and just general articles about geek culture or geek life. We are really interested in that. We're willing to take as many writers as exist, but we're looking for them who can come in again with some writing experience. If you've never written, if you don't have a portfolio, if you don't write for your local newspaper, your local school paper, so forth, if you've never written a blog post, again, we're probably not the best fit for you. The next one is sales. And this one, again, is pretty straightforward. We're looking for people who actually have experience in this arena. Now, you don't have to have experience per se selling comic book stuff, but as Saturday AM continues to get bigger and bigger, we, again, have people who want to bring Saturday AM into their stores, into their conventions, into a variety of places. And so we're looking for people who can actually help us realize that. This is a big opportunity. In fact, this is one of the few opportunities where there's actual money involved, because there's commissions and things like that. So again, this is not an opportunity for folks who've never actually sold. If you get scared talking to people, if you don't know how to market yourself, this is probably not the best spot for you. Again, kind of like the editorial piece and the writing piece, we're looking probably for people here who are a little older, who have real experience. So that's kind of the big thing here. But we are looking for people in sales. So just to recap before we turn to comics, we're looking for people in the design sector. Again, UI, print, or web design we're looking for. We're looking for people in the marketing arena. This would be public relations, media buy and partnerships, and, of course, advertising. We're looking for people in the sales arena. People can help us take the Saturday AM brand into retail in certain arenas, whether it's bookstores, independent bookstores, big bookstores, toy stores. There's a variety of places Saturday AM has been presented as options for us to go into, and we think we can do a good job there, but we need people who can actually manage that. Editorial, we're looking for people who have expert spelling and grammar, people who have patience, people who are well organized. They can work with creators and help us establish better stories. Social media, we're looking for people who can help us with our social media presence, helping us come up with campaigns, outreach, and, of course, exposure. And that would be for platforms Discord, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And then finally, we're looking for writers, people who can help us with articles. These would be interviews, reviews, and, of course, articles about geek culture and geek lifestyles. So that is that, and I'm going to answer some questions on that after we turn to Andrea Voros, one of our co-founders here at Saturday AM and the creator of the hit series Saigami. Andrea is going to discuss the comics side of it. And Andrea, I would just say to you, please talk about what we're looking for in general, and then we'll get to the specifics about age and various stuff later.
Okay. So for the comics artist interns, like for the other positions, what we need is experience. So if you're someone who just starts out drawing, or you just started drawing comics like 2 months ago, you're not the right person for this position. So you will have to have the equipment and the experience and the skills, because you will be working on actual comic content. Interns will have to take care of various art tasks, working on pages, and at the same time, I will be working with the comic artist interns to develop their own content. So you will be assigned some assistant-like tasks and other artworks what might be needed for the magazine. And the goal will be to create a short story or a pilot chapter with help from me, and also with editorial help. Of course, working on this is not a guarantee that you will be published in the magazine. It's not a guarantee that you will get a series. But the main goal of this whole comic artist internship is to use what you learn during your internship in order to create your own content.
Okay, so let me throw a few comments about that portion, and then from there we'll turn to questions. So as far as the comics piece, we're really excited to kind of unveil this piece of it. This is obviously one of the most requested things that we get. If you guys tune into our December pub talk, I kind of talked about this a little bit about how 2019, we've made a real passionate commitment since we started about diversity, trying to promote diversity and bring manga, a bit closer to the world, in the sense that this art style that so many of us love, actually reflects the sort of, uniqueness that we all live in our day-to-day lives. All stories take place in Japan. Not all characters, have spiky hair or pale and things of that nature, or Japanese names. They can be, Latino, Filipino, Indian, Arabic, African American, so on and so forth, Irish, Finnish, and still tell amazing stories. And so that's been our goal since day one. We created a group called Pilot Manga, which many people may remember. In fact, a lot of our competitors came from Pilot Manga, and we really loved this. In fact, it's one of the kind of bittersweet things that we did, because it was such a extraordinary event. It was such a really fun event, because what it was a community, and it united people around this very idea about how much we all love manga and would love to see it, be more diverse and more interesting and more global. And we felt a lot of love for what we were trying to do, but we also were able to kind of share that love with everybody else, so that they could show their characters and show their ideas, and it gave them a format to be able to express themselves amongst friends, amongst people who were allies, and then likewise put themselves in a position to create content that eventually we could carry. This has long been part of the ethos of Saturday AM, whether it's female creators, gay creators, creators of color. We've always championed the idea of getting more and more people to express themselves via comics. So one of the questions we get, you guys can watch old videos, but we get this question all the time is, well, hey, how do I make a comic? 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 How do I get my comic out there? So on and so forth. How do I find an artist? How do I find a writer? How do I improve my idea? How do I not get depressed because my idea doesn't feel good? Like we get those questions all the time, literally every day. And so we were intrigued about the idea of creating a scenario where we could actually work like more directly with promising creators on developing an idea. Now, this is something ideally that we would do in general, but this is really hard to do. In fact, if you look at Saturday AM the first couple of years, we actually did this. I did this, and there are a number of creators that I worked directly with to, help them create their comics. The challenge, of course, is that Saturday AM is a really tough experience. The challenge, of course, is that we have our own sort of objectives, which is to become a world-class publisher and to become a staple of manga. And so if we meet an artist who doesn't share those goals, no matter how promising they are, it makes it a difficult relationship. So when Andrea started talking about this, something that I talked before to her and White Manga and a few other people about the idea of eventually we'd love to be in a position to have an internship program for the creators so that they can actually have help. If you guys know, in Japan, creators actually have, reams of people helping them. It's not Kishimoto making Naruto all by himself. He's got maybe 6 or 7 people who help him, with backgrounds and sometimes character designs or character refinements, filling in the gaps, inking, lettering, you name it. So, and which makes sense. I mean, they're producing 20 pages a week. So when you've got all this activity, it's hard for us to do that because, again, we're still trying to make the business side of Saturday AM as strong as possible. And so it's tough to kind of make it work in that same vein. But Andrea is really taking leadership of this, and I'm really proud of her for that. To say, look, I want to see more creators. I want to see more female creators. I want to see more, more creators of color. And I'm prepared to kind of take time out of my schedule to work directly with a small number of creators and just help them find their voice and, kind of put together a program that can help them develop their idea kind of step by step. And if it works, then obviously maybe it ends up being a short story that we run during Summer of Manga this coming summer. If not, then it becomes, an opportunity for that person to at least have worked with Andrea, to have learned, to have gotten some skills under their belt, and maybe they can take that experience elsewhere, or they can start anew with better perspective. But it's an opportunity for that creator to get a kind of a one-on-one chance. We hope to get more creators involved. Right now it's Andrea, but I'm sure there'll be some other creators who'll step up. But as of now, the general idea is to be able to kind of make this opportunity all about helping creators kind of get a crash course on creating a concept and turning it into a short story. And that's the general idea. So that's it. So this is for a creator who does writing and art. This is for a team who are already assembled, who can do, who can do these things. But that's what this is for. This is not for people who don't have an artist or don't have a writer. This is not for individuals who are not trying to tell an original story. This is specifically for people who, are trying to create a concept, trying to create their own webcomic, and they're not quite sure, where to go with it, but they've got talent. This is not a scenario where you don't know how to draw or you're new to it. You got to have talent to make this work. Now, again, we're going to answer. I see people starting to throw questions out there. So we're going to answer those questions. But before we do that, I just want to put a couple more things down. Number one, if you already have a webcomic, if you already are kind of doing this, then this is not for you. Okay? We don't want to be in a position where we're trying to serve as like some advertising farm for somebody who already has a following and already is doing this. If you want to work with Saturday AM, there are plenty of options for you to work with Saturday AM, but this should not be it, because again, it's going to be very limited placements. And so what we don't want to do is ruin an opportunity for another person that could really benefit from this, because someone who's already talented, already knows how to do this, is seeking more exposure. Like that's, buy an ad if you want that. That's not what this is. So yeah, with that being said, let's go ahead and get to some questions. Unless, Andrea, do you have anything that you want to, you have anything you want to throw out there before we move to questions?
I think you said pretty much everything. So.
Okay. All right. Andrea, did you watch Spider-Man recently?
Yeah, so this was awesome.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was a good movie. Spider-Man's a good movie, folks. So if you want to make the next Miles Morales Spider-Man movie or Spider-Gwen movie, or comic book, not called Spider-Man and not called Spider-Gwen and not looking like those characters, but still looking that cool, please talk to us. We're so interested. Okay, so all right, folks, if you got questions, please send them. I know people had some questions earlier. It'd be a lot easier if you just post them now. We can get to them. Again, this is Frederick Jones, founder and publisher of Saturday AM, and Andrea Voros, the lovely creator of Saigami. I consider her one of my best female friends. I consider her like a little cherub of a sister. Damn, Andrea, you know when you respond to that? You were going to go, aw.
I just forgot to unmute my mic.
Okay. Okay. So Chris Laev says, how can I apply for an internship as an artist slash mangaka. So this was the comics intern position we just talked about. And again, let me recap the positions once again. The positions we're looking to fill, and by the way, today is not the day. So we hope to have all these positions filled sometime in February. But today is just like a Q&A video. But design, sales, marketing, editorial, social media, writing, and then of course comics. So to Chrislaev's question regarding how can you apply for an internship at artist mangaka, you can apply for any of the internship positions soon. I think we should have the form up tonight. Simply go to our website a little later tonight, or certainly by tomorrow, and you will find a post about this on our blog, and it will include a place to register for the internship position. And it's going to be a process, folks. If you've applied for a job, it's going to be like that. So it's not like an immediate thing like, hey, I'm interested, you got it. Like, it's not going to be like that. First of all, you have to RSVP, let us know that you're interested, give us some information that we can review. Then you'll let us, we'll then talk to you specifically about the role that you'd like to do. And then from there, we will then have it down to like formal interviews, and then choose the people who we think best would benefit from this role. So that is that. So again, we're not there. You won't be applying for this today per se. You'll be kind of letting us know that you're interested. We're going to be promoting this. It's going to be very open. So just because you're on this chat doesn't mean you have any sort of special insight except for information. And we'll go from there. Let's see here. Riconia says, I still got to watch Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. I'm so hyped for Miles Morales finally on the big screen. Yeah, it was a really good movie. And all the characters were cool. Spider-Ham was cool. Spider-Gwen was cool. Peter Parker was cool. Spider-Man Noir was cool. Like, they're all cool. Kagami 360 says, I got a 57 chapter webcomic. So blah, right. So again, folks, if you're trying to get into the comics portion of the internship and you already have, a comic you're doing and so forth, this isn't for you. It's not for you. Dice Avarunkus, I believe is how you say that, is asking, why is diversity so important to you? I mean, I've got this question before from folks. And typically there are people who don't care about diversity. So I won't ruin the conversation. I'll just say that my question to you, sir, or madam, is why is diversity not important to you? Like, why is it not important to you? That's kind of an odd thing to be wondering about diversity for everybody else and not actually asking yourself why diversity is not. Diversity should be important to everybody. Let's see here. Let's see. Going down the list. Yes, Andrea left me out. She left me to dry, folks. She left me to dry. Caleb, the questions are posted in the chat, Caleb. If you just post them in the chat, we will see them and we will get them answered. Sir Shabby, I love that name, says, Andrea, Sir Shabby is, that's what I wish to have on my tombstone is, Frederick Jones, aka Sir Shabby, lived the shabby life. Sir Shabby says, I've been interested in Saturday AM official Discord server, although I have experience social media, yet I don't have much of a following. So, Sir Shabby, I would just, I love that name. I would just say to, just apply and give us all the information that that you have on yourself, and then we'll see if it's a good fit. We just announced our Discord server, so we're gonna have it. Let's see here. Vicinia says, do we suggest applicants for the comics proportion prepare their portfolio? Yeah, so when we have the stuff posted tonight, folks, there'll be a lot of information there. And it will basically tell you everything that you need to have in regards to this. But what I would say first and foremost is that, again, You know, this is gonna be a long process. Like, it's not gonna be something where you just say like, hey, I'm interested, and that's it. This is gonna be like a job interview. So if you've never, and I've said this before, you know, if you guys are watching my videos, you'll see that I talk about this quite a bit. But this is why, you know, I'm older than a lot of you guys. I'm older than Andrea. I'm older than Christina here that I see in the chat. I'm older than a lot of you guys by like 20 years in some cases. And so the reason why that always is something I talk about is because it strikes me with a lot of this younger generation that a lot of you guys have never actually had a real job. And therefore, things like, you know, like actually having to apply for a job, having to have references, having to have your portfolio, or having all of your stuff together to present yourself are not always, you know, things that young people recognize as being things they need to have. This is going to be definitely on that scale. So so absolutely, when we do set everything up for people to apply, we're going to have all the information there, and you're going to have a chance to do so. And when you do so, it'll have kind of some suggestions of what you'll need to have for us to consider you for this role. It won't fully say what it needs to be, but it'll have some stuff there. And I would just say that, you know, if you feel strongly that you've got a good shot at it, then go for it. If you don't, then don't. But yes, have as much material prepared for yourself that when we ask for it, you can have it available. As I said before, if you've never written an article or a blog post, don't apply for this unless you're going to write a lot of them real fast. If you have never actually drawn anything, don't apply for the comics thing. If you don't have an artist that you can tell your story, don't apply for the comics thing. If you don't know how to use social media, but you know what it is, don't apply for the social media internship. Like, again, you have to, if you don't know how to spell or do grammar checks, you just don't have the understanding of good spelling and good grammar at an expert level, then don't apply for the editorial position. Like, there's some things that should be fairly obvious, but we need to make sure people understand that. So let's see here. Somebody said Attack on Titans has no diversity. Sure it does. Yeah, it does. I mean, it didn't initially, you're right, but it does now. Yeah. Let's see here. I'm butchering your name, person, so I'm not going to say that. I'm just going to say Awadele, which is the last name. Could I still apply for internship for comics if I'm still developing my characters and have an idea for the story I want to create? Yes. I mean, the comics is ideally for people who are talented, who have really good, you know. So let me say this: if you're not a great artist, if you're, you know, if you've never, like, if you don't have an Instagram page that has a lot of examples of your art, whether you've done a webcomic or not, if you don't have an Instagram page that shows us your artwork, that we can see that you actually are a decent artist, that you actually know how to do sequential artwork, then no, this is probably not going to work. Then I would not apply for this. It doesn't matter if you've created your own, you know, webcomics or not. Ideally, you've tried to create a webcomic, but or maybe you have a bunch of those small webcomics you've done. But ideally, what we're looking for are people who, you know, really have the skill sets and are looking for some foundation. But the skill sets have to be there. That's like mandatory. It's kind of like the editorial piece. If you don't know how to spell, if you're not great at spelling and grammar, don't apply for editorial. If you can't draw, or if you really struggle with art, this is not a direct tutorial. Like, Andrea's not going to take time on her schedule to make you a better artist. Unfortunately, we don't have the time for that. We love to do it, but that's not how this is going to work. Caleb says, so I have a webcomic on the site Webtoon. However, I don't have a following really. So putting the drives on hold support Saturday is not an issue. Should I still apply? Again, I think if you've got the skills, you think you can do it, you should apply. If you've got a webcomic that, yes, you're prepared to say, this is, you know, look, I've done it, but I'm not, because again, folks, the idea of the comics internship is specifically about helping you get over the hump. If you've got 57 chapters and counting of a series, you should be over the hump. Now, whether or not it's popular or any good, that's subjective, right? I mean, it's quantitative if you have any followers, but it's subjective as to whether or not it's any good. You know, it's not my job to say whether or not your webcomic's any good if you don't have any followers. But if you've been doing 57 installments, and I know that's what, not you, sir, or somebody else, but or Caleb, but if you've got 57 chapters or several chapters of a webcomic, then you don't need what we can offer you, right? Like there's nothing we can offer to help you understand for that under that circumstance. That's not how that works. So I think that's the key thing there, is to make sure that that you are in a position to get the most out of a internship tutorial position where, yes, you know how to make a comic, but you're looking for help to actually be able to kind of craft it effectively. And that's what this is for. This is not for advertising. This is not for trying to get your name bigger and so on and so forth. That's not what the comics internship is. Let's see here. Brian Doran asked about the app. Yeah, we hope to have an app soon. I mean, we're working on it. That's all I can tell you. We're definitely working on it. That's all I can tell you. Brandon Johnson says internship probably isn't for me. One of the next pitch sessions to submit manga. We're going to be announcing those later this month. So Maple Color says short story versus long story. The goal of the comics internship is to get you to craft a story that hopefully can be a long story, but then ultimately will exist at least initially as a short story. So the best way to look at this is that if you want to make a TV show in Hollywood, and you guys have seen this, if you ever watched a TV show, you've seen again an American TV show, not a Japanese anime. Then they have what they call a pilot chapter. The Japanese do this too. Actually, they have like a short video. Sometimes it's done at Jump Festa. Sometimes it's done inside of a volume of the manga. But they'll have like a example of what an anime would look like, and it might not be any series to it, but it's an example of that story of those characters in like a OAV, or again as a Jump Festa short. This is the same sort of thing. This is the same sort of deal. Basically, what you're trying to do is come up with a concept that'll allow you to, hopefully create a really long story, but we ultimately want to see it exist at least as a short story, so you can kind of work out all the things you've learned and then produce it, and then we'll see what people think about it. And then maybe it does become a series, and maybe we publish it, but that's not really the goal ultimately. Andrea, do you have anything you want to add to some of these questions, or is there anything I've said that you're like, no, you think differently about that, or?
I guess so far I'm agreeing. Like I wanted to answer that yes, short story is what we're trying to create, but so to say, a pilot chapter that has the potential of becoming a series. But for any newcomer, it's best to start with a short story. Yeah,
agreed. Okay, let's see here. So who else do we have? We have TVY says, I'm a writer with an artist. I've been trying to make a webcomic, but haven't made one yet. Should I apply? Yeah, I mean, if you've got an artist and he's good or she's good, and you've got a great concept, then absolutely should apply. Again, we need to see lots of material during this interview process to see whether or not this is the right gig. But absolutely, of course. Raconia says, pretty glad I've got some things on my Instagram. Yeah, you should, folks. I've said this before. If you're trying to get anywhere in comics and you're afraid to post stuff publicly on Instagram, then you need to rethink your relationship to wanting to have a career in comics or anything, because you've got to be willing to accept the criticism. I mean, we do it all the time. I'm just looking on our live chat, and before we even got going good, we had somebody give us a downvote. So clearly, we've got our haters. We've always had our haters, but there you go. Like, I mean, if you can't be public and accept the criticisms, fair or not, that you'll get, then you can't be telling people, well, you should consider me for this role because I think I can do a really good job with it. Not if you can't take criticism. You can't. So have an Instagram page. Have lots of stuff on your Instagram page showing your work. Let's see here. If you need any, let's see. Romario Herrera says, okay. Anyway, sorry, folks. I'm looking at these one by one. Black May says an official Saturday in Discord would be cool. We do have it. We just launched it. We'll start putting stuff on it soon. let's see. Neftali Albert says, "Do you take traditionally drawn comics?" Yeah, I think so. I mean, I don't know what traditionally drawn would mean, but I think so. I mean, I think so. Andrea, am I missing something?
Yeah, like we have manga in Saturday AM that are traditionally drawn, like Red Eyes Down. But also at the same time, the internship will include a large chunk of digital exercises because if you want to create comics that are good enough quality for printing, you will need to use softwares for lettering, for touch-ups, and so far. So doing traditional comics is not preventing you from applying in internship, but you will need to do some digital stuff as well if you get in.
Agreed. Okay. All right. So, but yeah, I would say folks go digital. I mean, that's what I would say. I always go digital. It just makes it easier. I mean, in other words, I think somebody said this later, but go and, go and invest in a scanner or something like that. For one thing, because like I said, this question always kind of is interesting to me because again, I'm older than you guys, so traditional has a different context to me, but I guess because I'm seeing a lot of responses to it, it ultimately doesn't matter how you create the comic, right? Like it really doesn't matter how you create it, whatever makes you comfortable. But what does matter is how you distribute it. So if you're expecting us to be involved with it, it has to be digital, right? So that if that means you draw it traditionally and then make it available to us digitally, that's fine. But it has to be digital for people to see it. And so from that standpoint, a scanner, some sort of digitization process that you go through is mandatory. And if that's not in your wheelhouse, then then this wouldn't work for you. Let's see here. Daisuke Chief says, I want to know how to submit commissions, and I don't know. I don't know what that means. You saying commissions? I don't know what that means, Daisuke. Vicinia Design says, okay, she's answering that question earlier. Okay. So Shabby says, no, our Discord link will be coming soon. We have it, but I just haven't posted it yet. Okay, so we're getting a lot of just kind of random questions that don't have much to do with the internship. So I'll answer a few of these, but then again, I think we'll probably wrap up here another 5 or 10 minutes because I think we've said everything we need to say. So ultimately, Maple Color says, what if art gets stolen? How do you feel about art thieves? Again, I think, like I said, there's a couple of things here, but the bottom line is that, folks, if you're not prepared to deal with the haters and so forth, then you shouldn't enter into comics. I mean, there are art thieves. Art thieves have existed as long as I've been alive, and that was certainly before the internet. So bottom line is that, you shouldn't be worried. I see too many people worried about stuff like that. You shouldn't be worried about that. So few creators make money, by the way, in comics, that people looking at your artwork is not really the issue here. The issue is creating something good, having it in a position where it can actually attract a fan base, and then being in a position to charge for it and make some money off of it. Once you get to that point, folks, then you'll be in a position to make sure that people aren't stealing your work. But if you're posting stuff if you're not posting because you're concerned someone's going to steal your artwork, there's not much you can do. I mean, you can watermark it. You can, if you see someone having posted your artwork, you can, call them out for it and post a copyright claim on Instagram or some of the other services. We had it happen recently. We had a young man who did an image of a character I created called Clock Striker, but he copied it literally verbatim. He traced it from one of our creators named Morgan Walker. She did a piece of fan art for Clock Striker for my series. And then this young man saw it, loved it, copied it verbatim, and then posted it as his artwork. And so I called him out. And, we're Saturday AM. We have a huge global following. So when I called him out, immediately lots of people approached this young person, told him to take it down. He got indignant about it, which was, again, kind of a young person thing. He got, pissed off that people were calling him out for it. But I think what I think he didn't understand was that that's stealing art, right? Like if you're going to do that, at least credit the person. So again, if you build a fan base, this is not quite the issue, right? It's not quite the issue, because if someone sees it, they're going to let you know, or if you see it, then you're going to be in a position to call them out for it, and then have people on your side who will then support the fact this person violated your art. But it happens all the time. It happens to white manga. It happens to Andrea. It happens to people all the time. That's not an excuse not to post your work. That's not an excuse not to go digital. We'll see here. Everybody will join the Discord when we launch it, folks. It's not an issue. I'm going to talk about the internships again, because we're going off topic a little bit. Okay, so again, just to be clear, we're looking for qualified individuals for the following positions: design. This would be user interface, print, or web design. For sales, this would be channel management. This would be ad and retail sales. Marketing. This would be for public relations, media buying, and advertising partnerships. We have editorial. This would be people who would help us. This is somewhat similar to the comics internship position. This would be people who would help us work with younger creators or newer creators to help them develop their idea. You're not writing it. You're not drawing it. You're not lettering it. You're simply helping them stay on time. You're making sure they're on schedule. You're getting them set up with the things that they need. And you're helping to serve as kind of like a devil's advocate when they are working on a story, to help them work through the writer's block. So we're looking for editorial for that reason. And one major editorial position will help us with Saturday PM in a big way. Social media, we're looking for social media. That would be someone who can help us with our social media presence on Twitter, Facebook, Discord, and Instagram. We're looking for someone to help us with writing. Internship position for writing, which would be writing for articles, writing for reviews of movies, TV show, technology, and writing interviews where you're interviewing a film director, a TV show writer, a cartoon storyboard artist, other webcomic artists, other comic book artists, comic book editors, comic book writers, you name it. This is really big. I think a lot of people sleep on the writing side. I mean, the fact that, we got guys who get free tickets to movies before they come out because they're reviewing it for Saturday AM. So like the writing is a really big thing, but you have to actually love writing. If you're looking for an artist, there's a question mark there. And then last but not least, comics. And the comics is what we've been talking about a little bit, which is the idea that we're looking for qualified, talented artists and or writer-artist teams that are looking for an actual one-on-one development experience to help them develop, understanding how to use tools, understanding how to craft story, understanding how to tell characters or create characters, and then ultimately producing a short story during our summer of manga. So that is that. So any other questions? And yes, the internship aspect would be via Andrea Voros, our friend and colleague and the creator of a big series we published called Sagami. So are there any other questions? Andrea, do you have anything else you want to advise people about?
I just want to answer, because I can see a question from Riconius. He's asking for the art internship. As of now, it will be as Andrea's assistant that will lead to the short story development. And basically, it's the main focus of the program is to raise the artists in hope to create a short story with them. And the main focus won't be the assistant tasks. So it's not like I'm hiring assistants here. I want to have interns that I can work with, developing their content. But at the same time, there are many things that are easiest to teach if you're actually practicing them on pages. So that's where the assistant tasks are coming in.
And you will play a role with some Saturday M stuff. So we may say, hey, we need to do a quick thing here with Saturday AM, and you'll get a chance to integrate with that as well. So so yeah, and as I said before, also I know this isn't a question, but there are other creators who we expect to be involved in this. So I don't know if White will be engaged with this, but I know we got other creators who have expressed interest in this similar thing. So as of right now, very small amount of positions we have available for this. But based on the success of it, the trajectory of it, it's possible we'll have more because we'll have more artists who are willing to kind of follow Andrea's lead and help have people assist with this. As far as how do I sign up, that will happen later. We're going to have it set up a little bit later, so it'll be set up a little bit later for you to do. These are not paid internships from Mario Herrera. We have some internships that are through colleges. This is not. This is a direct relationship with people that are wanting to be engaged and wanting us to help them in various ways. As I said earlier in the chat, we've been getting questions for 5 years now about if we can help people, if we can, review their portfolios, if we can help people understand marketing, if we can do this and do that and do this and do that. And we finally decided to kind of, take our time, and instead of just doing this for random people, kind of formalize it and put it into a real formal procedure where people can actually get the sort of experience direct and gain experience they need to then take this into other areas. So again, we're looking for people who are a little older for this, for that very reason. And then Awadeli asked the question of how do we communicate during the internships? We have a private intranet group, and you will be admitted access to that, and you'll be part of our intranet groups. You'll be able to talk to people. It's kind of like Facebook, but just for Saturday AM. Okay, folks, so we're about towards the end of this. I don't want to spend too much more time on this because I think we've answered a lot of these questions repeatedly. Again, I want to thank everybody for coming out. We're just incredibly proud of the support that we get. You guys are awesome, and I want to thank you again for believing in Saturday AM and our commitments and our just belief in trying to get more diverse content, more diverse creators into the marketplace. This is a big year for us. We're really excited about that. So we're thrilled to be in a position to finally kind of start doing bigger things like this. So it'll be available on our website. Keep checking our website if you don't know. It's www.saturday-am.com. And most likely through our social media, you'll see us make posts about it as well. Once all this goes live, it's going to be like a job interview, folks. So this will not be, something that you just do. This won't be something you can just do just because you're interested. This will be something that we're looking for the best, most qualified individuals who are hungry, who are passionate, who are talented, who are professional to engage with this. So I see one question that wasn't asked I want to address, and then two questions, and then that's it. One of the questions here was, I go to college, I do this on the side. How often will you need me? I'm in London, by the way. Again, it's an internship, so it's not a job. You're not expected to be on call 24/7. That being said, there will be expectations of kind of like a schedule that we can call upon you. And so from that standpoint, it'll be between you and whoever is in charge of these individual internship positions to work out what is the most agreeable schedule for you. Again, this has to work for both of us, right? Because again, we're not getting paid to manage and to pass on this sort of knowledge and to, kind of assist in this arena. So from that standpoint, this has to work for both parties. If you need, if you're trying to, earn a living, which is totally understandable, then this isn't for you. It's an internship. If you are trying to gain experience, but you have a work schedule that makes it difficult, well, then again, apply. When we get to that portion of the interview process, if it seems like it's not going to work in terms of the time demands that we foresee and the time issues that you might have, then, regrettably, we may have to say, what, we can't do this. And that's that. But that's true of any job. That's true of any volunteer assignment. That's true of anything. It has to work for both sides. Likewise, there's a question about, is it just short comic stories? Or can it also help making a long comic project? Again, we answered this. It's long. It's long. So this is, you're going to create a long comic project, hopefully via the comics project, but ultimately you're going to be producing a short story. If you do it well and everything comes together, ultimately you'll produce a short story comic project for Summer of Manga, which happens this summer. That's the ultimate goal of this. And then from there, if it's really successful, then it can become something else. But that's all dependent on how this stuff goes. None of this is a guarantee. The question that didn't come up that I think is completely appropriate. By the way, we have international folks. I mean, that's our whole company ethos is international, diverse characters, diverse creators. When we first met Andrea, she was in Hungary. When we first started Saturday AM, we had one of our main creators was in Vietnam. Another one was in the Philippines. White Manga, of course, is from Nigeria, even though he's been here in the States for quite a while. So the point is that we have people all times. I was up till 2 o'clock in the morning last night, or 1 o'clock in the morning, talking to the artist of Massively Multiplayer World of Ghosts, who's out of New Zealand. So, folks, the time zone is not the issue, especially in a digital world that we live in, where you've got iPhones and apps and something to keep you up to date. That's not really the issue. The issue is just, can you guys be involved? Can you guys be committed to make yourself available and things like that? The one question that didn't get asked that you want to address is the question of age. So age is really important. We take it very seriously. As I've indicated before, I think that Saturday AM is at its best when we have creators who are a little older. So from that standpoint, we're looking for creators who are 21 and older to occupy these various internship positions. Now, for the comic side, because we understand, of course, again, that, it's a different process, a different animal. We're going to lower that to 18. But regardless, we still have the expectations that you have to be experienced, professional, communicative, someone who, like you're not someone who's too shy to talk. You're not somebody who, is rude or insensitive or, if you're a jerk, frankly, that's just not professional. So we're not going to deal with those sorts of personality types. So again, we expect you to have professional credibility. And from that standpoint, that means you probably have to be a little older. So if you are the world's most dynamic 16-year-old, you draw like White Manga, you've got, you carry yourself well, you're organized, hey, that's possible. Then I would say apply, even though chances are you're not going to get it. I would say still apply. But if that's not you, if you're not that type of artist, if you know that you've still got a lot to learn, to where you wouldn't be an asset in any of these positions, then let's put it in position. Let's put it in perspective. It's probably not the best area. So that's it. So I hope everybody is excited. We're extremely excited. Again, we'll thank everybody for showing up and giving us love throughout this chat. We have a big 2019 plan, folks. Oh my God, you have no idea how many things we have planned for 2019. It's going to blow your socks off. Issue 100, if you haven't read it yet, please check it out. If you're wanting to do this internship stuff, folks, and you don't know what we do, stop what you're doing and go subscribe right now to Saturday AM. It's ridiculous to want to do this and you don't know what we do. Check it out. See what we do. 100th issue is fantastic. We're really, really amazed. So thank you guys for supporting us. Andrea, anything you want to add before we hop off?
Well, I'm really looking forward to working with interns, and yeah, this year will be awesome, and issue 100 was awesome. Everything is awesome.
Exactly. Yep, that's Andrea, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, those of you guys who ultimately get this comics internship position, and you get to interact with Andrea Voros and get those little nuggets of cherub-like wisdom, man, you guys don't know what you're in for. All right, well, folks, thank you so much. We're gonna hop back off now and get back to work on some other stuff. But again, folks, thank you so much for supporting us from the bottom of our hearts. Seriously, we so appreciate everything you guys do for us in terms of just supporting us with subscribing, supporting us in these chats, checking out things like Saturday Con, coming to see us at conventions, telling your friends about us. We appreciate it so much. Our heart goes out to you guys for just being great people. Thank you so much. We will talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye.